Mornings.
ॐ
Om
सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru
वन्दे
Paramparam.
गुरुपरम्पराम्
सहना
Om
भवतु
Sahana
भवतु
Bhavatu
सहनौ
Sahana Bhunaktu
वीर्यं
Sahaviram
कर्मवावहै
वीर्यं
Bhavavai
करवावहै
Tejasvinavaditamasma Vidvishavahai. Om
शान्तिः
Shanti Shanti
हरि ओम्.
Hari Om.
So, we are in the middle of a long discussion. And in the last class we saw that Purvapakshi had was talking about the Nitya Phalam, Nitya Karma. And he said Nitya Karma can, if while you do Nitya Karma, there is a lot of pain. And since according to the Purva Mimamsika, Nitya Karma has no other fruit, no other phalam, it can be used for exhausting Sanchita Papam. This is the argument of the Purva Mimamsika. We have to remember that as Advaitins, we say that Nitya Karma has got phalam. But this is the argument of the Purvapakshi. And so he says, since the Nitya Karma has no other consequences, no other phalam, it can be used to neutralize Sanchita Karma. And we saw one part of Shankara's Khandanam, refutation, which says that the very name Sanchita Karma is given to distinguish it from Prarabdha Karma. Because Sanchita Karma refers to those parts of the karmas, accumulated karmas, which have not become active in this Janma. And what has not become active in this Janma, it cannot give any sort of pleasure or pain or any type of fruit. And Shankara had said that if you don't accept this definition, then where is the difference between Prarabdha and Sanchita? You are eliminating the difference itself. And then Shankara had given one more very important argument. He said that Nitya Naimitya Karma, any Nitya Naimitya Karma, take anything, take Sandhya Vandanam, take Agnihotram. It is the same amount of effort for everybody, whether it is you or me or a third party, whether it's a murderer or whether it's a saint, that karma, that Agnihotram, will require the same amount of effort, right? Will give the same amount of pain. And your argument is that that pain is neutralizing the Sanchita karma. Yeah. But that, I would request you all to please mute yourself. But that particular pain, if you are saying it's neutralizing the Sanchita karma for everybody, there is a problem. Because Sanchita karma for you and me and for the murderer and for the saint, they are different types of karma, different varieties. Some people have had small papams, some people have done major papams, right? How can one uniform type of pain arising out of one nitya karma neutralize these different forms of papa? Right? So that is the first argument we saw. Up till that we saw in the last class. And therefore Shankara says it cannot be said that the pain in doing nitya karma can address all types of Sanchita Papa. And here Shankara gives a very, very special definition to Prarabdha Karma. Because it's a very beautiful definition, I am giving you the Sanskrit part also. Marana Kale Phala Adanaya Anankuri Bhutasya Karmanaha. What does it mean? Those karmas which have begun to Ankuri Bhutasya. Ankuri Bhutasya means which has started. Ankura means what? A sprout. So those actions which are sprouted, which have started fructifying, when at Marana Kale, that's the most important portion. He's saying at the time of the death of the physical body, certain karma is allocated, which is for the next body. Right? It's a very, very rare definition. Normally, what do we say? Prarabdha karma is that karma which, because of which you experience pain and pleasure in this body, in the current birth. Right? So instead of saying at the time of the birth, Shankara is saying this karma was allocated at the time of the death of the previous body. This is not, of course, anything which we don't know, right? It's a rare idea, but we have seen this in one of the Upanishads. When is that? Where is that? We have seen that the physical body is given to the jiva at the time of the death of the early physical body.
Yes, yes.
Beg pardon?
Where you also told us about the
Andogya.
Jairam.
Kandogya Panchagni Vidya. Right? It is Jala Shariram, it is called. Jala Shariram. Right? So this idea is, because of this idea, Shankara gives the definition. So he says, but this Shariram is not functional. It is in a very elementary formative stage, and it has to go through several stages, which we call the Agnis. Swarga, Mega, Bhumi, Purushaha, Nari, and then only it becomes functional. So he says, and that of course is the idea, but what the important note is what? He says, Anankuri Bhutasya Karmanaha. Anankuri means that which has not taken seed, that which has not sprouted, that which has not started to give fruits. So he is defining Sanchita karma as that karma which is Anankuri Bhutasya, which is not Prarabdha karma. And we say Sanchita karma, therefore, sorry, Sanchita karma cannot be experienced in a body which has been brought about, which has been born on account of another set of Prarabdha karma. Right? First is there is a Sanchita karma which is there in the storehouse. Out of that Sanchita karma, a certain set has been taken out, and that is a Prarabdha karma which has been given to you at the time of the death of the physical body, and it is given to you, therefore there is a new body called the Jala Shariram. We saw all that in Panchagni Vidya. Therefore, it says the idea that that Sanchita karma which is there in the storehouse, which has not started to take any fruits, not started to give any fruits, how can that Sanchita karma be experienced when you have a body which is an account of another completely different set of Sanchita karma, which is called Prarabdha? That is not logical at all. And he is logic also, right? First of all, he says it's not possible. Then he says there is a logic to it. What is the logic? Let us say that the Prarabdha karma handed over to you at the death of the current physical body is excellent Prarabdha karma, right? Very fine Prarabdha karma, which will give you a very big, very high birth. Let us say a birth in Devaloka. So a very fine body. And what happens is because of the excellent Prarabdha karma, the next body is meant to experience very high levels of pleasure. So Devaloka, right? You have gone to Devaloka, you've got a very good body. But if you are saying that the Nitya Namita karma will negate the Sanchita karma also, you are saying that the fruits of the Sanchita karma are available in the current birth also. What about Sanchita karma? Do you have only good karma, bad karma? You have both. Right. So if you have a Deva Shariram, if you got a divine body, you got a birth in heaven, which is meant for pure pleasure. Right? That is because of the Prarabdha karma. But he says your Sanchita has lots of papam. And to experience the papam, you will need to go to Naraka, hell. Okay. Also, you will need to come to lower bodies. Therefore, if you are saying, he's telling me Purvamamsika, if you are saying that the Sanchita Karma's papam is also going to be available to be neutralized in this current birth, then you will find that this Jiva, who is currently in Swarga, when the Sanchita papam fructifies, he will have to suddenly be removed to Narakam. And a different body will have to be given. And then when he comes to another type of papam, he has to come back to Manushya Loka, for which he will have a Manusya body. And therefore you will find that this jiva is constantly oscillating. One day divine body is Loka, one day Manusya body in Manusya Loka, one day lower body in Naraka, all happening in one Janma. So do you find anything illogical with the ideas of the jiva moving between different bodies in one Janma? He said it's not possible. Right? And if this view of the Purvapakshi is to be accepted, what view? That Sanchita Papam is also available to be neutralized in this Janma, then it means that in Swargaloka also there will be Dukkham, there will be sorrow. And if there is sorrow in Swargaloka also, what is the difference between Swargaloka and Nargaloka? You might as well be born in Manushya Loka where both are available. So he says, Anupapatti nasyat. Such a situation, this constant oscillation cannot happen. Do you follow the argument?
Yes.
Yes, but his next argument may be that it is only in case of this loka, Prithvi loka. I mean, Manusha body, that time Prarabdha and Sanchita both are available. I mean, it may be his argument.
No, well, let's see what argument he gives. Now, he gives another argument. He says, the pain arising from the performance of Nitya Karma, because pain means the effort is there in performing Nitya Karma, right? How can you say that that pain is the same pain as any other pain which is given to you on account of, let us say, papam, right? So there are kinds of what is called durita sanchita papam, which give rise to various kinds of pain, dukkha phalam, because of various kinds of papam. So are you going to say that the pain of all this sanchita papams will be only in the form of the 12 karma? Are you going to say that? Because that is what you are saying. You are saying that Nitya Karma effort, pain, is neutralizing the Sanchita Papam. In which your case, you are saying basically that the phalam of all the Sanchita Papam is the same, is only one. The pain involved in doing Nitya Karma. And if you say that, then he says, how will you explain the pain which you go through otherwise in this loka? You get disease, you have mental pain, you have divorce, you have children dying, you have accidents. How will you explain that? So that Purvapakshi says, okay, fine, I can explain. Right? What is that? Prarabdha karma is exhausted through other pain. But Sanchita karma is exhausted only through the pain of doing Nitya Naimitya karma. So it's a statement which you can't fault, right? Prarabdha karma is exhausted through all other pains. Like if you fall down, you break a leg, you have a disease. All this is the result of Prarabdha karma. But the Nitya Naimitya karma which you do, that effort, it exhausts only Sanchita. Then Shankara asks, fine, where is the pravanam for this statement? Is there anything in the Veda which is justifying this stand, or is it only your fertile brain? Right? Because what is the whole in this argument? If you are saying that Sanchita is being exhausted in this Janma, then you are removing the distinction between Sanchita and Prarabdha. Right? Because the moment you talk about exhaustion of any karma in the present janma, you have to call it prarabdha. It is no longer sanchita. So you have no answer on how sanchita will be exhausted. So Purvapakshi says, well, the problem is that this sanchita prarabdha bifurcation, okay, you as Advaitin, you have brought about this sanchita prarabdha bifurcation and then you are creating all sort of problems. But I, the Aikya Bhavika Vadi, I have no such problem because for me, all karma is uniform. There is no sanchita, there is no prarabdha, right? Then, what is the problem with that? If all sanchita is prarabdha, what is the problem with that? Logical problem.
Can you repeat the question, Acharya? Couldn't hear.
So he says, the Purvapakshi says that this sanchita prarabdha bifurcation is something which you Advaitins have dreamt of. I am the Aikya Bhavika Vadi. I have no such problems. For me, every karma is uniform. There is no division at all. Sanchita and Prarabdha. Therefore, all karmas can be exhausted in this particular birth. That is his very theory, right? He says in this birth, entire stock of karma has to be exhausted.
Then there will be continuing life because the stock of karma is also infinite.
Now, what he's saying is all going to go in this particular life. That's his theory.
But
he
then
forgot the
karmas are so many,
punyam.
so life will also be so long to exhaust them.
Yeah, so he's saying, so Shankara says that by your definition, if you're saying all karma, including Sanchita, will fructify in this current Janma, then of course I accept that there is no bifurcation at all. Everything is Prarabdha karma only. If everything is Prarabdha karma, you yourself have said that all pains exhaust Prarabdha karma. Then why do you bifurcate the pain from Nityanamidya karma to go towards Sanchita? Right? Because if all pains are being exhausted of prarabdha, what karma remains to be exhausted later? Right? Therefore, he says that all pains in this current life have to be accepted as the prarabdha phalam only. It is not logical to say that nitya karma pain can be attributed to sanchita karma. And because of that, you have to come to the Advaitin's view that nitya karma, when you do, it is not for the purpose of exhausting papam, but it is for the purpose of producing punyam. Right? There are various pains in your life. You have no choice about that. Right? It is not that if I do nitya karma, I will be free of prarabdha karma. It's not. The Veda mandates nitya karma. Right? And Veda does not say anywhere the nitya karma is for the purpose of exhausting the pain of sanchita karma. Further, if you look at nitya karma, there are two types of phalam. What are they? Nitya karma produces.
Drishta.
No, let's look at this way. When you do nitya karma, any karma when you do, there is a sankalpa. Right? So when you do the karma with a sankalpa, you produce punyam. That punyam can be utilized towards fulfilling that sankalpa. So if you are doing nitya karma and saying that, I wish my child to be growing up healthy. So that's a sankalpa, that my child should be healthy. Therefore, the punyam arising from that nitya karma will be allocated by the Lord towards the health of your child. But if you do a nishkama nitya karma without a sankalpa, punyam is still generated. It is not that punyam is not generated. Punyam is still generated, but that punyam is allocated for what?
Chitta Shuddhi.
Shuddhi.
For antakarma shuddhi, for chitta shuddhi. Therefore, Shankara says that please understand, nitya karma will produce result. And that result is not meant for the neutralization of papam. If it is done sakamaha, it produces punyam which can be encashed, can take you to better lives, give you better living conditions here. If it is done nishkama, it is also good for you. And that is why Shruti doesn't specify a result for nitya karma, right? For example, when you are a child, you are told brush your teeth daily. But your mother doesn't have to tell you it is good for you. Has understood. Similarly, when Shruti says do nitya karma daily, you have to understand that nitya karma is good for you. Similarly, daily prayer. Shruti says every day you should pray. Why? Because every day, because of the various interactions which you have, there is raga and dvesha which builds up. And daily prayer takes care of that raga and dvesha, all the anger, the hurt, the jealousy, it takes care. Right? So, you don't have to be told that daily bath is necessary to take care of physical impurities. Similarly, Shastra does not have to tell you that Nitya Karma takes care of your mental impurities, takes care of your negativity. It is meant to take care of Durita as well as to produce Papa, as well produce Punyam. Both results are there. Daily prayer neutralizes old papams and prevents new ones from coming in. That is why there is a sankalpa, before prayer, when you do any prayer, the sankalpa. Mama upata samasta duritam kshayartham aham idam karishe. I am doing this prayer for the sake of neutralization of all my old papams. And with this sankalpa prayer, the papa karma is neutralized. You often hear people say, I prayed, but nothing happened. What should be the answer to that? I have heard this many times from students, especially in TTC. I pray daily, but nothing has happened.
It may not be drishta always, the phalam.
Yeah, what you should ask, what you should appreciate is you prayed and nothing happened. Had you not prayed, something might have
Something
happened
could
which
have
should
happened.
right. So the Lord's grace is not always clearly evident, but has to be clearly appreciated. And in fact, there is a Mahabharata story. I don't know if you all remember. Arjuna was in battle with Karna, right? And Karna had a particular astra which was supposed to be used only against Arjuna. It was called the Naga Astra. And when he had got the Astra, it was on the specific request that I should have an Astra which will kill Arjuna. The Thal Astra was meant to kill Arjuna. So when Karna uses the Naga Astra against Arjuna, what does the story say? You guys don't remember. It's a very important story.
Is it relating to Ghatotkaч?
No.
The
He
last one?
forgot the mantra.
Oh,
No.
yeah, he forgot the.
No.
No.
When the Nagastra was fired, Krishna hit the bottom of the chariot with his leg. What happens? The chariot sinks into the ground. The Astra takes off the Arjuna's crown instead of his head. The Astra had to work, but it took the crown off because of divine grace, because Krishna presses the chariot
Ishvara
into the
Anugraha.
ground. Ishvara Anugraha. So it may not be obvious because Arjuna may still think, why did that, Astra hit me at all? But if Krishna had not been there, it would not have been the crown which went off. It would have been his head. Similarly, because of surrender to the Lord, which surrender is always by way of prayer, lot of things which may have happened don't happen. We have to learn to appreciate that as the Lord's grace. Okay, another point is to be noted here. Of course, we have the answer to this in Taittiriya Upanishad. Also, we saw this Purva Pakshi says that not doing Nitya Karma creates Papa. Right? So we know that that is the Pratyavaya Papam. But by not doing Nitya Karma, Papam is not addressed. We saw the answer, right? By not doing something, there cannot be a phalam. So what was the example we gave for Pratyavaya Papam?
Daily cleaning.
Dusting of the room. By not dusting the room, dust is not coming because of your not dusting the room. But by not dusting the room, the dust which is accumulating otherwise is being revealed. Right? It's not a direct consequence of not dusting. It's the revealing of the dust is the consequence of not dusting. Dust is coming in because of other things. Therefore, you will be doing lots of things in your life which will be creating papams. But by not doing nitya karma, those papams are not cleaned out. And that is what karne pratyavaya, a very important statement in the Veda. Nitya karma is for cleaning the dust. And Shankara also says, if the pain caused by the performance of nitya karma is drishtaha, remember that doing the karma is also drishtaha. The cause is drishtaha, effect is drishtaha. Like karma phalam is drishtaha when the karma is drishtaha. For example, if you do exercise, this is an example which Shankara uses. He says vyayam adivat. Supposing you do exercise, the pain arising out of that exercise is due to the exercise itself and not because you were rude to your wife last night. Do you believe that? It's a very important argument that Shankara is using. Because
Can you
what?
come again, sir?
Sorry?
Can you come again on that?
I'm saying, supposing you are doing a lot of exercise, right? And your body is paining after the exercise. And then I come and tell you, hey, this is because you were rude last night to your wife. It is karma phalam. Will you believe that?
No,
No.
Why?
because I am perceiving the pain that is because of the exercise that I did.
Very good. So, a drishta karma gives you a drishta phalam, right? And Shankara is asking, when there is a drishta karanam for the pain, why do you want to connect it to adrishta karanam, which is previous janma? Therefore, he gives a mimamsa rule. Yatra drishta karanam nasti, tatra eva adrishta karanam kalpyate. You can understand? Yatra drishta karanam nasti. Wherever there is no visible cause for particular pain, there alone should you take adrishta karanam as the cause. So here in this case exercise, the visible cause is there. You are doing the exercise, there is visible pain. When there is a drishta karanam available, you should never connect it to adrishta papa. This argument is using for this fellow. Because he is saying that that pain is because sanchita, which is adrishta. He says, no, you are doing nitya karma, that is drishta. The effort involved is drishta, pain involved is drishta. Therefore, you should directly link the pain involved in doing the nitya karma to the nitya karma itself. Don't say that sanchita karma is the cause of that pain. I hope you understand. It's a very important rule. Whenever you are saying something is due to papam, make sure that there is no explanation available which is visible cause. Which is why I gave the example of being rude to your wife. Being rude to your wife would have created papam, that is adrishtam. But don't connect the pain of doing the exercise to the adrishtam. You have to connect it to doing exercise, which is drishta. Okay?
But then, then what about the adrishta karyam? Say if somebody is thinking bad about somebody,
Yeah.
that he needs to be, you know, fracturing his leg, or because of he has done something to me,
Uh,
then how does it operate?
that adrishta thing, karanam, will operate as mental disturbance for you. The physical drishta phalam is the mental disturbance, the anger, the jealousy. The drishta karanam is this thought that let that fellow break his leg. Your mind will not have a good FIR.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now, Shankara gives another argument.
Thank you.
Why Nitya Karma cannot exhaust Sanchita? He says you are making contradictory statements. What are they? We have not caught this so far, okay? We should have caught it, but we have not caught it. What are Purupakshi's statements? Nitya Karma has no phalam. First statement. And then he is saying Nitya Karma is used to exhaust Sanchita. Is there a phalam or not?
Yes.
Therefore, he is saying your two statements are contradictory. The moment you say that Nitya Karma used for Sanchita, you are saying there is a Dukkha Phalam for Nitya Karma. And the statements are therefore defective because of the contradiction. Okay. These are all the various arguments. See, the idea of all this is to brush up our brain, make us capable of doing mananam. That is the main advantage of studying Bhashyams, because Shankara comes up with objections which we would never think of. And then he answers those objections. He gives another objection now. Okay. And the argument he gives. To understand this argument, we require some sort of a background. So let me give the background. There is Tarka Shastra, Nyaya Vaisheshika Darshanam. Okay. They have a law. When they define any cause, any karanam, they have a law. They say the karanam means obviously there is a karyam. There is a cause, there is an effect. So any cause, they say, must fulfill a rule. What is that? Every time a product, the karyam is produced, the karanam must have invariably precedent existence. The karanam should be there existing before the karyam is produced. Okay. Simple example. The karanam for curds is milk. Before the curd is produced, the milk must be existing. Nobody disputes that. We also accept this rule. Now, there is a problem. Veda says do karma. But the phalam, when does the phalam of karma come? It doesn't come in the next moment. It may not come in the next day. It may not come in the next year. It may not come in this janma itself. Right? For example, you do some good homa. Yeah. For getting swarga. That phalam will not come immediately. That phalam can come when? In the next janma. Assuming that your homam has been powerful enough. Like Nachiketa homam you did. So we have seen that Nachiketa homam gives swarga as the fruit. Supposing you did Nachiketa homam properly when you are 25 years old. You are not going to swarga next moment. You are not going to swarga the whole of this janma. Because this phalam cannot come as long as your body is alive. Right? So, the definition that the karanam must be immediately precedent, immediately available before the karyam. Is it fulfilled? What is the karanam? The homam. It is not immediately before the travel to Swarga because the entire life is left for that. And therefore, according to Tarka Shastram, that particular homam cannot be said to be the Karanam of Swarga. But Veda Pramanam says, in fact, Lord Yamraja himself says that if you do this particular homam, you will go to Swarga. That is why he teaches us Nachiketas. And it gets the name Nachiketa Homam. How do you reconcile? Anybody? Okay. So the reconciliation is done by the Ekabhavigavadi, the Purva Mimamsika. He says your statement that Vedic karma produces Swarga is not correct. Vedic karma produces Adrishta Punyam. Right? So the result, the phalam of the Nachiketas Homam is Adrishta Punyam. And Vedic karma is the Karanam for this Punyam. The Karyam is Adrishta Punyam, not Swarga. And whenever that Punyam comes to fructify, it produces Swarga. So if you take the Adrishta Punyam as the Karanam exists immediately prior to your going to Swarga, and therefore the law is not violated. And this we also accept. Advaitins also accept. Okay. Based on this, our understanding has to be refined. Vaidika karma immediately produces only Adrishta Phala, Punyam. Nishadha karma produces only immediately Adrishta Papa. Now Shankara is saying that you are saying, Purvamamsika, that Nitya karma has a phalam and the phalam is Sanjita exhaustion. Right? How does this happen? How does the Sanjita get exhausted? In the form of the pain which you get out of doing the Nitya karma. But the pain is not Adrishtam. Pain is very much known to me. So it is Drishta phalam. So when the Ekabhavika Vadi says that Nitya karma exhausts Sanchita papam, what is he saying? He is saying that Nitya karma is giving Drishta phalam, which is exactly opposite to the law that he states. Nitya karma should produce only Adrishta phalam. The Drishta pain of Sanchita karma cannot be a phalam of Nitya karma. So this is an important point that only Laukika karma, worldly karma, only worldly karma gives immediate phalam. Vaidika karma does not give immediate phalam, immediate drishta phalam. Vaidika karma always produces immediate adrishta phalam. Can you give an example of Laukika karma producing drishta phalam immediately?
That example which we use when somebody pushes another person on the road just to save him from getting hurt by a vehicle. The drishta phalam is that he falls down and
Okay.
and the
But there is adrishta also, right? A better example is you are drinking water. Is that Vaidika karma or Laukika karma?
laukika.
Laukika.
What is the drishta
Quench your
phalam?
thirst.
Your thirst will go.
Thirst will
Both are drishtam, right? The worldly karma is drishtam and the worldly phalam is drishtam. And therefore he says Nitya karma cannot produce the drishta phalam of pain. Therefore the argument that Nitya karma addresses Sanchita is not correct. With this the Purvamimamsika, the Aikya Bhavika Vadi has been refuted. Okay. Now, what is,
one point.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead, go
There's
ahead.
just one. Yeah. There's just one point. You said
the Purva Mimamsika says that Vaidika karma phalam is adrishta punyam. What about the sankalpa that we have taken when we do a homam like Nachiketa for Swarga?
Whatever it is,
What
the
happens
phalam
to
is,
that?
phalam is the adrishtam only. At the time of
Huh.
fructification of the phalam, then you will get your sankalpas. When you do the homam, if you want your child to
Right.
get admission into, let us say, university, first comes
Hmm.
adrishta punyam. At the time of fructification of that
Okay.
punyam, that converts into admission.
Okay.
You
Okay. So the
cannot say,
sankalpa is
whatever it
there,
is,
but
Vadikarma, the
yeah.
rule is Vadikarma can produce only drishtam, adrishtam.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that you must be very
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah. And of course, also in law of karma, when any punyam or papam fructifies, there is no date or
There is
guarantee
no
or
date.
time or anything.
There is no
That can
date.
be is variable totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, what is actually being said in the Gita so far? Gita says that there are ajnanis who engage in karma. What do they do? They try to handle all their problems through karma. So ajnanis means those who are not jnanis, not those who don't know about the Veda. He may be a karma kandi, he's still a ajnani. So this ajnani karma kandi, he may have faith in the Veda, but he has not come to jnanam. So he has problems. He handles those problems through a combination of worldly actions and rituals. So through Laukika karma and Vadika karma. Okay. How about jnanis? They engage in jnanam. They take to sannyasa and they do shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. And Shankara quotes very, very extensively from the Gita. I'll give some of those quotes. Ubhau tauna vijanitaha. Second chapter, 19th mantra. Veda vinashinam nityam. Second chapter, 21st mantra. Jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. Third chapter, third mantra. Ajnanam karma sanginam. Third chapter, 26th mantra. Tattvavettu mahabaho guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. Third chapter, 28th mantra. Sarva karmani manasa sannyassaste. Fifth chapter, 13th mantra. Naiva kinchit karomi iti yukto manyeta tattvavitu. Fifth chapter, 8th mantra. Means what? The ajñataha ajñaha karomi iti. The person who is ajñaha, who is ignorant person, he only does karma. Right? You have to also recall Aruksho Karma Yoga, that particular verse 6.03, which talks about the person who continues with karma until he understands that ajnanam is the problem. When you understood that, when your chitta shuddhi is there, when your mind is ready to come to jnanam, only then can you drop karma. Until then, you have to continue karma. This is the text of the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. A lot of people say Bhagavad Gita is about doing karma. It's not only about doing karma. Krishna actually says that you have to do karma until you are ready for jnana. And since most of the people are not ready for jnana, that's why most people take Bhagavad Gita as a mandate for doing karma. But Krishna is very clear. You have to do karma until you get Chitta Shuddhi. After that, you have to renounce. Okay. All right. Now we go to the next topic in the Bhashya. To understand that, we have to take a example. So let us take the example of rope snake, Rajju Sarpaha. Okay. What is the problem about Rajju Sarpaha? Because of the lack of clear light. So remember, there is no total darkness, there is no total light. Partial light is there. Because of partial light, the rope snake is seen. It is mithya. Okay. Now let us take this Rajju Sarpaha, the rope snake. The rope snake, if you do an analysis, it can be of two types. So we will call it snake number one. Okay. Mithya snake number one, MS1. So this is the Mithya snake. the superimposed snake. But the person who is seeing that snake in the twilight does not know that it is mithya. And therefore he thinks he is seeing a real snake. And therefore he suffers from sorrow and pain and panic. What is the reason? Because he has not differentiated the mithya snake from the real snake. Right? In other words, the mithya snake has not been understood as a mithya snake, but as a real snake. Therefore, the problems he would have had on seeing the real snake, those problems are manifested on seeing the mithya snake. Fair enough?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now let us introduce MS mithya snake number 2. Okay. This mithya snake number 2, why is it a mithya snake? Because it is made of rubber or plastic. Right? And this plastic snake you are keeping on the floor, and then you are doing the Nagin song. Everybody knows the Nagin song, right? The snake charmer, the Beena instrument. So you're doing the snake, all of you are dancing around this mithya snake number 2. It is a mithya snake only, unreal snake, because it is made of rubber. Right? What is the difference between the two snakes, mithya snake number 1 and mithya snake number 2?
In Mithya Snake number 1, you have a confusion. I mean, like you take something which is really not real and you think it is real, whereas in the second case, you know it is not real and you are still just pretending to take it as real.
One is adhyasa and the other one is real in that sense.
Okay. So, in the case of mithya snake number 1, there is a adhyasa, as you say, also for impression, but the adhyasa is because of ajnanam.
Yes.
So, in the case of snake number 2, you are deliberately saying, deliberately doing the adhyasa, but knowing the adhyasa, not through jnana, not through ajnanam. So, adhyasa is there in both the snakes. The first adhyasa is because of ajnanam. The second adhyasa is a deliberate superimposition, because you are taking the snake for dancing purpose. Now, the Rajju Sarpa is not understood as mithya. Snake number 1 is actually mithya, but you have not understood it as mithya. But snake number 2, you have understood as mithya. How do you know? Because snake number 2 does not scare you. Right? So, the snake number 1 has not been differentiated from the authentic snake of the snake park. Therefore, you make the mistake of taking it as a real snake. Because it has not been differentiated, it has become capable of generating fear. And to convey these features, you say mithya sarpaha. What about the real snake in the forest or in the snake park? That is a real snake, right? That is called mukhya sarpaha. All these terms are important, okay? So there is a mukhya sarpaha, the real snake in the forest or in the snake park. And there is a mithya sarpaha, which you are seeing on the rope because of inadequate light. So the mithya sarpaha, snake number 1, is associated with 3 things. What is that? Adhyasa because of ajnanam. It has not been differentiated from the mukhya sarpaha, the main chief snake, and therefore it is capable of causing problems. These are 3 features of the snake number 1, which we call mithya sarpaha. What about snake number 2? Snake number 2 also has been associated, adhyasa is there, but it is a deliberately superimposed adhyasa. Therefore, what are the features of the snake number 2? Everybody knows that it is a superimposed snake. Therefore, the snake number 2 has been differentiated from the mukhya sarpa. And therefore, it is not capable of causing any problems to you. right? And to convey this set of features, the second set of features, a new word is used. We say snake number 2 is Gauna Sarpaha. Right? So how many snakes are there now? Mukhya Sarpaha, Mithya Sarpaha,
Three.
Gauna Sarpaha. Mukhya Sarpaha is real snake. Mithya Sarpaha and Gauna Sarpaha are unreal snakes. Now we have to go back to the thoughts, pratyayas. Corresponding to these three snakes, there are three thoughts. Mukhya Sarpa thought, Mithya Sarpa thought, and Gauna Sarpa thought. Right? We don't need to talk much about the Mukhya Sarpa thought because as long as you don't go and hug it, the Mukhya Sarpa will not create a problem for you. But the two other Sarpas, the Mithya Sarpa and the Gauna Sarpa, so the Mithya thought and the Gauna thought has to be clearly understood. Why am I saying all this? How is it relevant to Vedanta? So the same three divisions can be given to Atma. There is a Mukhya Atma, there is a Mithya Atma, and there is a Gauna Atma. It's very important, this idea, because when you say I, you are referring to yourself, the Atma. And therefore the word I, the Aham Pratyaya, the thought I, is used in three formats. Mithya Atma, right? Mithya Atma means what? By definition, you have to recall the Mithya snake, which means that you have not recognized that snake as Mithya. So when you, as a samsari, as a ajnani, you say, I am hungry. The word I is used in the terms of the body, right? Mithya Atma. Or you say, I am fat. Again, you're using the term I as Mithya Atma. Okay? Which is the case with all the samsaris. They think of the body-mind complex as themselves. Therefore, when they say I, they are using the terminology in the Mithya Atma sense. But as a jnani, which all of y'all are now, okay, as a jnani, when you say, I am hungry, you know that you, the Atma, can never be hungry. And therefore, you are using that word I in the sense of the body again. What is the difference between the samsari and you?
The figurative usage here.
It's a
It is
figurative.
Gauna.
Gauna
It is
Pratyaya.
Gauna.
It is Gauna.
Uh-huh.
So when you say I am hungry, it is simply because you don't want to go around telling your wife like my body needs food. She will probably give you one conk on the head. So you don't want to say all those things. You want to conform with the worldly language. Therefore, you say I in the Gauna sense. You know that you are not the body, but are using the word I in Laukika usage, in the worldly usage. And that is called the Gauna Atma. And then there is Mukhya Atma. When you say I am Brahman in Nididhyasanam, you are using the term in Mukhya Atma sense. I hope it is clear. Very, very important ideas. Mithya Atma, Gauna Atma, Mukhya Atma. Or Mukhya Pratyaya, Gauna Pratyaya, Mithya Pratyaya. In what sense you are using the word Aham?
So that means only the jnani will uh, use in his mind when he says I, Gauna Atma, and not Mithya Atma. He understands that.
Correct. When the jnani uses the word I, you can use it in two senses. In the Mukhya Atma sense, when he is in meditation, or in the Gauna Atma sense, when he is interacting with the world.
But Mithya is not there for him.
Mithya is not there for him. He knows he is not the body, mind, sense complex.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when a wrong impression is deliberately used by a person who knows it is wrong, it is called Gauna Pratyaya. But if the expression is used without knowing that it is wrong, out of ajnanam, it is mithya pratyaya. So to summarize, there are three usages of the aham pratyaya. Mithya pratyaya, born out of ajnanam. I take the body to be me and my behavior is accordingly. Gavana pratyaya, as a jnani, I use the body, but I know I am not the body. I don't want to make silly statements like the body is hungry or the mind is, in trouble, the mind is sorrowful. You know that is a correct statement, but you don't want to use it in the transactional world. Therefore, you say, I am not, I am hungry or I am disturbed. Knowing fully well that you do not mean the body or the mind, or you do not mean yourself, the Atma. Knowing fully well that when you say I am disturbed, you are saying you are using the word I for the mind, but knowing that you are not the mind. So a deliberate use of the word I by the jnani for transactional purposes with the world is Gavana Pratyaya. And when you do it in Nididhyasanam, it is Mukhya Pratyaya. Right? Let's take an example. Arjuna is called Bharatarshabha. What is Bharatarshabha?
The gem of Bharat Vamsh.
No. Arshabha means bull.
Bull. Bull.
Bull,
Okay,
bull
okay.
amongst.
So Bharatarshabha means the bull among the Bharata race. Is this Gavana Pratyaya or Mithya Pratyaya? Is the usage?
Gauna Pratyaya.
Governor.
It's Gavana Pratyaya. Why? Because
Yeah.
you don't expect, you know that Arjuna is not a bull. Okay,
Mm.
that ignorance is not there. You know it's not a bull, and therefore you don't expect all that a bull will do from Arjuna. So it is Gavana Pratyaya. But if you expect Arjuna to behave like a bull, then it becomes Mithya Pratyaya. Okay. Then the verse number, I think, 6th chapter, the first verse. Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti sa sannyasihi. Krishna is telling the grahastha that you are a sannyasi. The statement is not born out of ignorance. What he means is you are like a sannyasi, as good as a sannyasi. Again, it is Gavana Pratyaya. So this particular bifurcations you should be very, very thorough with. Once you are able to appreciate the usage of the word aham in these three different situations, clarity comes into mind. So with this, we'll stop for today. Any questions?
Acharya when we say Ishwar Arpanam or do bhakti or puja,
Yeah.
that time what is is it gone? Knowing the facts like Vedant, we know the what you have taught, we understand, but haven't realized it actually. Still into Ragadvesh and all that.
You don't ever say that you understood but not realized. There is no such thing.
I mean,
And
factually we know what you say, but haven't reached Jnanam.
that statement is not acceptable to us. That I know what you have said is true, but I have not reached Jnanam. That is not a correct statement at all.
Then what will it be?
If you have understood Shastram, you know you are Brahman. There is no question of a different, state of being Brahman. You say, I know Shastram, what does Shastram say? Tattvamasi. Aham Brahma Asmi. That is Jnanam, that is moksha. If you are saying that because I know I am a jnani, my mind should not be disturbed, that is again wrong. Mind has nothing to do with your moksha.
Home, sir.
Yeah.
Long time ago, when we wish each other happy birthday on the group or whatever. So knowing that I am not the body and I am Atma and I say happy birthday, that is Gauna Pratyaya.
That is Gavana Pratyaya.
Yes.
To answer her question, when you are doing Ishvara Arpanam, what is the reason you are doing? Are you doing it knowing that you are a jnani and just to make sure that the people in your family follow that?
No, because Shastra has said so. Whatever you do, Ishwar Arpanam
One
has
second.
to.
One second.
Yeah.
When there are two reasons for doing. One is when I do Ishvara Arpanam, then I am saying that I am a karma yogi. If I am doing it only for myself. Because I am doing Ishvara so that I get Chitta Shuddhi, so that I come to Jnanam. One is I am a Jnani, I know I am Brahman, but I have to do this because, why? Because my family is there. They should know that the mother and the father, they are Vajika people, they do prayers. Which is the reason. If you are doing it because Shastra says so and you are hoping for punyam, then it is mithya pratyaya. If you are doing it because you know that it is not required to be done because you are Brahman, but you are doing it as a role model, then it is Gavana pratyaya.
Thank you, Acharya.
Okay, a huge amount of work has been done today. I hope you will, meditate upon that. Om Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you,
Om.
Acharya.